Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and today I'm going to talk about how I made this layout in my art journal using collage, water solubles, ink, and other embellishing techniques. If you like journal arts, altered books, vintage books, paper, and other ephemera, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure and turn on the notifications, and you will have more of them in your life. Let's go make an art journal page. Here are some of the images that I'm using today. I'm starting out with a background of text. These are old dictionary pages, but you can use any kind of print that you have. And that's because even when this page is finished, these pages are finished, you're not going to see a whole lot of that text. But it is going to peek through. And that to me adds texture, depth, and interest to the eye, more than just a blank white page. These are images that I think I'm going to use, and they are from found papers. These are not the vintage originals that I use in, say, my altered books, which means that I can have a lot more fun with the pages. I don't have to worry. This is from a coffee table book of old maps. And she's from a coffee table book of sacred art. These are also from the old maps. I do love a compass rose. She's from a free postcard that I got at a history book fair last week. And she's got a little slate and a book satchel. I have these birds, also from a coffee table book that I bought yesterday at the secondhand bookstore for £1, so like $1.25, full of birds. And this is a botanical that I clearly am going to have to trim. I'm also going to add to the background, I am going to use an original piece of vintage paper, and that is this French, it's called a quittance, which means a canceled check. And I really, really like these. There's a lot going on. You've got the handwriting, the letterhead, the stamps, the stamps, the stamps. And I like how it pulls the pages together. And I can go ahead and use this in my art journal, which is usually loose, because I just bought a bunch of them in France last month. And I have scanned these and I've made them into printable digitals. They're on Etsy. I've got a link in the text below this video if you think that you need some old French canceled checks. Let's go. I really haven't planned this, so I'm just going to move stuff around and talk about what works and what doesn't. Initially, I do like this over here with the letterhead pulling the eye towards this side of the paper. And I'm leaning towards, this is the way the map goes, but I don't have to do it that way. I prefer it turned around like this. And that anchors this side of the page. But we could do it like this. Actually, that's not bad. So I'm going to think about that. That's taking up a lot of valuable real estate. You know, a lot of the pretty stuff is getting covered there. So try that. That's not working, but I think we've got a little bit too much yellow-ish here, the golden ones. So let's go ahead and move that back this way. And now it's still covering up quite a bit, but you do still also have the stamps. Now when I move it back over, the green separates the gold from the gold. So that's a little more balanced. And it lets me put these guys over here, which I like the way that they fit into this corner really, really well. And as I say, that still leaves plenty of the stamps and details for interest. That's not bad. She's clearly looking off to something that we can't see that's happening over here, and there's a story there. I kind of like that. The gaze changes a little bit. It's more in the page. I like how the brown here is picked up with the brown here and here. Also, she's vertical and they're vertical. So that's good. It's consistent. And it makes the two pages echo each other. But I do like an eccentric looking. The colors of her gown also very much pick up the colors of the birds. So that is tempting. I don't know, but she's kind of serious and they're kind of serious. She brings a little bit more lightness, a lighter feel to the layout. I'm going to go think about it. I'm kind of veering off into a different direction here. I am going to go with this Mad Lady, but I've given her now a halo of a compass rose. And I think that softens things a little bit. She seems to be more whimsical, and I think it seems as though she's smiling a little bit more. As if she knows a joke that we don't know. And who wouldn't be smiling if they had a halo of a compass rose around them? I went into the box of butterflies. And again, these are just from coffee table books. Very cheap. And I guess these are moths. And I like that they have the same palette. These chocolate tobacco colors here, dark chocolate colors. And I found another one. And he's going to go over here. And again, that's picking up the gold here, here, and here. Usually I talk a lot about narrative in a collage and getting your pieces to interact with each other. I'm not sure these pieces do interact. And that's okay, because this is my art journal, and this page can be anything this page wants to be. And I'm very happy with how it's coming together visually and structurally. And so even if it's imperfect, like I said, I'm going to be learning something from that. I've got this text here from a children's book. I like to use found text in kids' books because it's usually nice and oversized. Big font there. And over here I have an old postage stamp. Also, if I add this text, it's referring to her. Oops, it's the wrong way around. But it's also picking up some of the text elements on this side of the page, which does pull that written text thing from page to page and makes the eye connect. I'm happy with this layout. The only thing that I changed was I added this tiny celestial map, also from the map coffee table book. And that's because it also has these sepia and dark colors that are throughout. And because it also completes this motif of a circle, and a circle. And these three elements make a triangle that draws the viewer's eye. Also, who doesn't love a celestial map? For the next layer, I've gone around most of my outside edges of my focal points, and I've outlined them using a water-soluble graphite pencil. This one's by Caran d'Ache, but a lot of people make them. And by water-soluble, I mean that when this pencil mark is activated with water or other liquid, it will turn into an ink or a kind of a paint. Today, instead of water, I am using gesso. And that is because by activating this color with gesso, this gray color, I can pull it out into the page. And it starts to make a look that for me suggests a faded, peeling fresco or some old stone. And I love this look a lot. I'm not using my good brushes for this. I'm using some children's brushes from the kids section of the craft store, and they are inexpensive and they do the job surprisingly well. Now I'm going to add a little bit more color in. I'm starting with some soft chalk pastels, and this is in a nice autumn palette by Daler Rowney called the Warm Selection. And this is a madder brown. It's kind of a terracotta color. And I'm just going to go and I think here add some shading like this. And I'm smudging, smudging, smudging. And that's going to do a couple of things. It's going to just pull the eye down on this corner. It's also going to echo this color in the pear. I'm going to add a little bit here on the corner of the cancel check, the lines there. Just to add a little bit of contrast that pulls out that kind of the terracotta colors throughout. But just a little. Very soft and subtle. Over here, I want to add to the greens a little bit. And I have this is by Derwent, and it's called XL Graphite Chunky Sticks. These are water soluble, but I'm going to use them dry. I'm going to add some of this green like that. It just gives it more of a 3D look. And I'm also going to smudge that. Now this green has more of a surreal, abstract look to it. And I want to go over here and pull some of that green over. So I've drawn in some just vague leaf shapes here on the branches. And to give them a little bit of emphasis, I have a charcoal pencil that is in a sort of a, again, a terracotta color. Oh, nope, I want to use this one. It's sort of a brown, a burnt umber color. Sorry, picked up the wrong one. And I'm not trying to make these look like perfect leaves. They're more suggestions. But this does give it some definition. And that pulls the leaf from here to here. I'm going to add a little bit of light stencil work for some embellishment. I just want to go through here and down here with this honeycomb stencil. I'm going to be using ink that I have made from onion skins. And this is the same ink that is in my online course, How to Make and Use 4 Plant-Based Inks. So if you are curious about making your own, please check out the link below this video. I'm going to load up my blending tool. You don't have to use a blending tool. A makeup sponge will work just as well. When you are using loose ink with a stencil as opposed to an ink pad, it's going to give you a very messy result rather than a perfect crisp one. And I'm happy with that for this kind of page. Yeah. I'm going to finish this off by going for broke and adding some ink drizzles. Sometimes when I add ink drizzles, I put the ink directly in a spritzer or mini mister. But I don't have much border here, so I want more control. What I've done is I've loaded up my pipette with some of that onion skin ink. And I'm going to go drop it onto the border here and then activate it with some clean water that I have in this spritzer. I've got some grease-proof paper down in case the ink has a mind of its own. It usually does. Now I'm just going to tilt the page. Let's see, let's get that off of there. I want it to be messy, but I don't want it to get into my main characters too much. Here we go. It has lots of drama and lots of layers. And that's what I like in an art journal page. Please check out the text below this video and you can find out what's happening here at Book and Paper Arts. I'm going to be back in a few days with a look at what's new in the studio. So please stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, get up and go make something.